Massive open online courses, or MOOCs as they are referred to. Now, if you haven't already, be prepared to hear a lot more about these in the coming months. But at Dukascopy, we won't make you wait any further, as in the studio with me today is Yves Ziabam to give us the lowdown. Yves, thank you so much for coming in today.
Pleasure.
Now, these MOOCs, as we're called, they're part of a trend which started in the US but has been gaining traction in the UK and elsewhere. Can you tell us a little bit more about them, please, Yves?
Yes, sure. So for me, the key word in the MOOC terminology is the open side of it. You're right, it started in the US and in the UK, and there's still a very big number of courses which are offered in English, probably 10 times more as any other language. So that's still an important part of the catalog. And it's basically a new form of distance education, and it offers the learners the ability to study in different ways in a blended format, online and offline.
Okay. Now, online courses are obviously very good for the learner, but what are the benefits for the organisation, the company, the university, etc., which are offering them?
It's actually excellent for both sides. For the learners, of course, because it gives them wider access to more content, and also for corporate learning departments or universities or anyone who produce quality content. For a teacher, for instance, or a trainer, it gives him or her the ability to have a far wider outreach to a bigger group of potential learners. And for the institution, it's also a great way to market the brand in a much wider way.
Now, online courses are obviously, as you say, there are advantages, but one of the problems or the kind of grey areas is the isolation, which has been pointed out as the main reason people sign up for these courses but they drop out because they're on their own. How can different bodies or people really overcome these problems?
You're right, the dropout rate is one of the major issues, something that all the producers of online courses are trying to solve. I don't think learners stay isolated. I think luckily they have a very good social life, and they are reinventing ways to meet offline the people they want to interact with. So they may identify the right people to interact with online, but then they recreate opportunities to have coffees, drinks, to go to the pub and to socialize in real life.
Always the best of both worlds there. Now, we have a quote here. It's from Susan Holmes, who said, "I don't think that you can get a Stanford education online, just as I don't think that Facebook gives you a social life." Now, there are obviously benefits, as we have discussed, and disadvantages of these online learners, but what do you think? Is there real innovation here? Will online courses ever take over proper bricks and mortar university courses or bricks and mortar education?
That's a very good question. I don't know about Stanford. I haven't studied there. I'm pretty sure it's an amazing place. I don't think online courses will ever replace a curriculum like the one you can get in Stanford. There are so many great things you can get in such an education. So it's not just the content. It's of course the interaction with the teachers, the interaction with the other students, the project you can co-create on campus. So there are many things that MOOCs and other types of online courses cannot replicate and will probably never replicate. So I don't think it's the end of the brick and mortar campus. We were brainstorming about the future of education last week with some of my friends, and possibly online courses are gonna generate fewer attendance in certain campus. And it's an opportunity for campus and corporate learning spaces to reinvent themselves, and maybe to offer different types of environments where the interaction can be really at the heart. So maybe more coffee machines, maybe more places to sit, more cinemas, more theaters. So places that facilitates interaction, and maybe it will become less the place where you transfer the knowledge from one to a small group. So knowledge transfer will still happen, luckily. It will happen probably from one person to a very large number of people in an online format. So we can imagine to have hundreds of thousands of people watching an online course, but at the same time you will still have smaller groups, smaller interaction, little projects with teams of 5 or 7 that will need places to exist, and people will continue to co-create in what we call today campuses, whether they are corporate campuses or whether they are university campuses.
Excellent. Well, it certainly is an exciting trend, but thank you so much for coming in and introducing it to Dukascopy TV. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Well, that's all from me for the moment, but please do click back to Dukascopy TV for many more exclusive interviews. Goodbye for now.